Hi, everyone. Welcome to our webinar on click anxiety. Don't worry, you're not going to break it. That's the whole point here. So, in this webinar, what we're going to talk about are three things. We're going to learn how to explore a resource website. We're going to learn how to explore an assignment website. And we're going to learn to explore an application. Now, we can't possibly go through every single type of website, every single type of assignment, and every single type of application. So what we're going to do is we are going to take one example of each and go through it. And hopefully this helps you out as you move through Nightingale College. So let's first start with exploring a resource website. So one website that you should know how to explore is My Nightingale. As you can see, we want to start your day at My Nightingale. And so let's just take a look at that really quickly. So this is not the page I want. Here we go, right here. So this is My Nightingale, and this is the welcome dashboard. On this dashboard, you'll see a whole bunch of things that you should click on or could click on. I recommend clicking on log in here. That will log you into My Nightingale if you're not already logged in. If you click on that, it will authenticate you. And if you haven't been logged in, it will ask you to put in your credentials there. Um, and I think what's happening right now is it's not letting me log in because I am logged in pretending like I'm a student on this page. All right, so let's get rid of leaving the student view. And then we can go back to My Nightingale and try this again. You know, you have something loaded, ready to go. The whole thing here was talking about click anxiety. The most important thing to realize is that you can't always control what the technology does. And so there's no reason to get, I know that it can get frustrating, but we're going to go here. All right. So we were on the welcome page. You click login here. It will bring you to your learner homepage. Now on this homepage, you can access Canvas, you can access your email, you can access a whole bunch of links here. And it's okay to go through and just click to see what's happening. So I want to go to the Technology Center. I click on the Technology Center. It's going to open in a new window. This is our support page, okay? You can search for solutions about things that you're struggling with. You can put in a ticket, okay? Over here, you just click. You could put in a ticket for something that you you're having trouble with. So there's a whole bunch of things. You can request a service. You can browse some articles. So there's one website that I found just by clicking around here, okay? I think in terms of your school, the most important thing that you could be looking at are your academic resources for Nightingale College. Now, here we have the Writing Center, we have the Math Lab, we have webinars. We can click on the webinar. We're in a webinar right now. And so here's a list of the webinar recordings that we have, and you can click on these to you're not going to break anything. Just click on these. I want to learn more about adjectives, adverbs, and apostrophes. I want to beat writer's block. Okay. There's a whole bunch of tips and tricks to help you through the problems that you have. Okay. These are resources for you. Okay, those are some of the webinars. Okay, we have the math lab here. You can click through here. You've got a link to each of the courses that are offered here at Nightingale: college algebra, statistics, dosage calculations. Okay, then you also just have the tutoring schedule. Click on that, and we're just clicking through. We're not going to break anything. The worst case scenario is we get to a spot and we don't know how to get back to where we were. So let's say I was looking for math 100 and I accidentally filtered this to math 220 and I couldn't figure out how to click back out, which you would just come back here and choose a different subject. But let's say we couldn't figure that out, then we can always just go back to our learner home or back to the academic resources. Okay? So you're not going to break a website. It can't happen, right? There's also a schedule down here. Don't forget to scroll down to the bottom of the page. You could find some fun stuff. Academic coaching. Okay, here are all the different ways that you can get help. Make an appointment. General education, webinars, types of academic. You'll see some of the links over and over again. So this is my Nightingale. When you're exploring a resource website, you've got stuff along the left-hand side. You've got your Nightingale news. What I would do is I would come here and I would click on every possibility and look through every dashboard and click on every link. Got our academic resources again. Here's some nursing education resources. So some of these are opening in new tabs along the top, which means if I close out of that tab, I can just go back to where I was. So I can just get this out of the way, and I'm back to the page I was just at. And again, this had opened in a new link, and I had navigated back. So we're back at this page once again. And so check out the library. Here's another link to that same nursing education resources. But in the library, we have free online books and resources, getting started with Bookshelf, writing submissions, scholarship, research and writing, library tutorials, interlibrary loan. There's so many things. And again, some of these will bring you back to pages that we've already been to. But take a look at everything that's available to you. Click through. You're not going to have access to collaborators, but these are the ways that you explore websites. You can click on every link, see where it brings you. If you can't get your way back, maybe you're opened in a new tab, close out that tab, go back to the previous one. Okay, bookmark this welcome page. Okay, we can bookmark a page by clicking on the star here. This is in Edge, but Microsoft Edge. But in Google Chrome, it's very similar. You would just click on the star and it would add to your favorites page, and then you can edit it later. All right. So that is my Nightingale. Let's get the most out of Canvas here. Right, so in Canvas, I'm going to go back to that tab I was just in. We go to Canvas, and I'm going to preview this as a student. So as a student, okay, again, along the left-hand side of your course, you've got all these things that you can explore, okay? These are links. Some are links to other pages inside of Canvas. Some of these are links to external sites, okay? When you link to an external site, typically it opens in a new tab. So if you get lost or you're wondering where you were before, the back button isn't always going to work. But the back button is a good tool to use. Like if you navigated someplace that you don't want to be, just hit the back button. It will bring you back to where you were. If the back button isn't working, make sure that you haven't opened something in a new tab. So like if I click on the webinar for this course, Math 90, it's going to bring me to a page that says open in a new tab. And when I click on that, it will open in a new tab. But my announcements, these are all internal pages, which is why I'm not being brought somewhere else. So we have all the announcements. We have a copy of the syllabus. This is something that you would want to read before your course begins so that you understand the expectations of the course. Okay. And when we're accessing Canvas, make sure you're accessing Canvas from a computer that runs Windows or Mac OS. Don't try to get onto Canvas and explore on your phone or a tablet. There's some of these pages that just won't work for you. Then we have our modules page. The modules page shows you all the modules for the course. Okay. Now some of these are grayed out for me and I can't access them because they have prerequisites, but we can still look at all the modules and that would allow me to start my course and go from there. Okay. The grades page, okay? These are going to be my grades. Now, as a test student, I haven't done anything. I have a 0, which is not a great grade, okay? We have a link to the library, okay? This is going to open in a new tab. It's going to bring us back to My Nightingale, to the library page that we were just exploring, okay? And there's lots of resources here. This has just been redesigned. It's actually incredible. Okay. So I explored that tab. Notice it opened in a new tab. To get back to my course, I don't need to go back. There is no back button here. Can't get back here. So I'm just going to click on the previous tab I was in. There's also a link to Office 365, which we're actually going to get to in just a moment, but this will bring us to another page. There's a class notebook. As you explore this, okay, you would have to sign into OneNote. If this isn't something that you use, you don't worry about it. It's not that every single one of these things it has to be something that you need to use, but it's good to go through and click on each of these, okay? You click on badges, it brings you to a badges page. Do I have any badges? I don't know. Curious to know. This loads. I'm not enrolled in this badging group. Okay. That's no big deal. That's because I'm a test student. And I think the important thing whenever you're going through and checking out all of the things that would be in a course is give yourself time. Okay, because I'm here and I'm doing all of this now, this would be something I'm doing at the beginning. This would be at the beginning, like the week before a semester started. Now, you might not have access to the page then until the first day of the semester. This would be something that I would do on the first day. I would just explore everything that this course has to offer. And I would look through the modules and I would read the syllabus and I would make sure I would know when my instructor was giving their weekly webinars. Okay. So that, again, is getting the most out of Canvas. So next, what if some of the course that you're taking has assignments that are online? Okay. So we want to make sure we understand all of our resources. So we're going to go ahead and go back to that internet tab that I had open. Again, we want to access this through a computer. So here I am. Here's an example of something that I'm familiar with. This is Newton Alta. If you're taking a math course here at Nightingale, your assignments are going to be on Newton Alta, whether it's Math 90, Math 100, Math 220. You're going to have your assignments here, okay? And this is a homework assignment that I am currently looking at. And here I have an interface. Okay, so this webinar is not about doing math problems. I know it's not the most fun that people can have. But by default, this is asking you to find an inequality. And by default, this is the keyboard that came up. Okay. Now, if you know the answer to this problem, since we're less than or equal to in this particular problem, since we're less than or equal to, we're going to need a closed bracket on the right and an open bracket on the left. So I know this is here because this was already shown to me. This was the interface that came up when I clicked on this box. Notice when I click off the box, the interface disappeared. Click around. Mastery. How much of this assignment have I mastered? 11%. How many objectives are there? Okay, you can click around and you're not going to break anything. Okay. Now you don't have all of these buttons like instructor cheat. That's just because I'm in a student preview as an instructor. But once I click back in here, I'm allowed to keep typing. Now the answer to this is we're starting at negative infinity, but I don't see the symbol that I need anywhere here. That doesn't mean that I'm wrong and the answer isn't negative infinity. The answer is negative infinity. I just need to find that symbol. Now I clicked here and I'm in the sets keyboard, but there's another keyboard called basic. And you can see there's all these different symbols and operations here, and one of them happens to be infinity. I need a comma, and then I need to go back. I guess I don't need to go back to the sets, but I'm going to end at -2, so I'm going to put -2 in. But if I hadn't clicked around, I probably wouldn't have seen this keyboard here. And so you got to play around with the interface. And you definitely want to play around with the interface. Oh, look at this. There's some keyboard shortcuts too. So even if you can't find the keyboard you're looking for, you can use these keyboard shortcuts. IFT, how do you all right, let's I kind of want to try this now. This is what messing around helps with. It said it was Shift Alt and then IFT. Let's see if this works. Shift Alt IFT. Hey, and it gave me an infinity. That's incredible. Let's look at some of these other keyboard shortcuts. Could I have gotten I could have also just, I think, typed this in manually. So I could have put in the right parenthesis. Notice how it closes the parenthesis on the left side. And so I don't want that, but I can delete it. And then I can put in my negative. I don't need the keyboard for this. I don't need to click around. I can do my Shift Alt IFT. It gives me infinity. I can hit the comma on my keyboard, and then I can put in -2 on my keyboard, and then Shift. Nope, that's the wrong one. Just square bracket. And it's giving me the same thing without having to rely on the keyboard. So even if you didn't see the basic keyboard where infinity was, just clicking around allowed me to find something that I didn't know before. We can put a fraction. If you just use the division sign, it will fraction using the previous expression as the numerator. There's a square root. Shift Alt SQ. These are all great things. Shift Alt SQ. That didn't work. Shift Alt SQ. Why isn't that working? Maybe Oh, it's not letting me put anything else in here because I already got an answer in here. I wonder if I did. Yeah, SQ gives me a square root. So this is, sometimes at the beginning of a semester when you have more time, it's just good to go through and explore. The reason being is now anytime I need an infinity, I can do it with my keyboard, and that's going to be a little bit faster than clicking around with my mouse. And so by putting a little bit more time in early on, you're saving yourself time later on, which is great. All right, -2, square bracket. Let's see if we got this right. And perfect. Your hard work is paying off. All right. So this is just one example. This is in a math class, but the same thing applies to any assignment you're given on any given website. Especially if you know you're going to be assessed on this, is going to count as a grade, you're going to want to learn the interface so that you understand it better and you're not spending all of your time during an assessment, like a high stakes assessment like an exam. You're not spending your time figuring out the interface. You've already are familiar with it and comfortable with it. All right, so the last thing that we want to explore today is an application. So the first thing you should know is that you can download the Microsoft Office suite to your desktop. So if you have your laptop or desktop that you've been using for your course, because again, in Canvas, you really do need a computer that's running a legitimate operating system like Windows or Mac OS. You need that to access the full capabilities of Canvas, including your assignments. But you can download the Microsoft Office suite. So you would go to Microsoft and you could just go to Microsoft 365 in your browser. It's going to ask you to log in. Sure, I'm going to connect this one. And on your home page, it's going to show you your apps. And you can actually download these apps. So if you went into PowerPoint, for example, you could use it on the web, but you can also choose to download some of these apps. So I think it might be in the home page. Yes, install and more. So you can go ahead and install your Microsoft 365 apps. It's going to bring you to a page. And you're going to log in with your Nightingale account. And Microsoft Office is included with as being a learner here at Nightingale. So you can click on that and download it. I've already got it on my computer, so I don't need to continue here. But what I would like to show you is, how to explore an app like Microsoft Excel, or sorry, Microsoft Word. So in this case, I just have this template that was built into Microsoft Word. And this is kind of like a, Mad Libs kind of thing. Now you can edit this by clicking around and typing. So I just re-typed what was already there. But if I wanted to change something about the way that this looks, I need to do some exploring. So we have in Word what are called in any Microsoft Office suite, you have what's called the ribbon. So the ribbon's up here, and this ribbon is the home ribbon, and it has things like your fonts and whether it's bold or not. So I could make this not bold, okay? But I can play around with it. I can change the color of the font. I can change the way the font looks. And you'll notice I'm doing the same thing that I was doing on the website earlier. I'm just looking at things and clicking around to see what it looks like. This makes the font bigger. This makes the font smaller. Okay? This makes it all uppercase if I wanted to make it all uppercase. Okay? It's, you know, it's what it is. You go around and you explore. I want to insert something. Okay, there's so many things that you can insert. I can insert an equation if I want to. I can insert a symbol. I can insert a table. I can draw in here if I want to. Okay, now drawing with the mouse, not the greatest. And I'm not doing anything that I can't fix. So see this arrow here? This is the undo arrow. And I can undo everything that I've done so far and bring this right back to where I started. Now, if you're really worried about breaking or messing something up in a document that is for a class, so let's say you're playing around and you want to be able to go back to the original in case something went really wrong and your formatting is just totally messed up and you can't get back to where it is. What I suggest is that at the beginning, you go to File and you save a copy. So you're going to save as, and you're going to save it someplace that's important to you, where you would find it. And this could be copy of assignment. You're just saving it somewhere so that first, if you had downloaded this thing, it's just not sitting in your downloads folder. It's actually sitting in a folder somewhere on your computer where it should live, maybe somewhere that's automatically getting backed up to the cloud, which is better. And so now if I mess up the copy of the assignment, at least now I can go back to the original assignment and start over if I need to. So I highly recommend that you download Microsoft Office, that you download Microsoft Teams, and you just click around and see what's available. Okay? References. Look, I can insert an endnote. I can put in a footnote. I can APA style. Look at this stuff. I mean, there's so many things that are available to you as tools that maybe you didn't realize were there. And just by clicking around, giving yourself the grace to make a mistake, giving yourself the time to explore, these are going to be helpful to you later on. Now, I know you're all busy and you're all taking so much coursework on right now, and that's great. When you have the week between semesters, when you have when you're in the beginning of the course and there might not be as much coursework to get done, this is the time to explore. This is the time to set yourself up for success. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming, and hopefully this will help you in your journey to becoming a nurse.